Hi, hello everybody. At the time of recording, the Destiny Rising servers are still down. However, by the time you're seeing this video, they'll probably be back up. This is the first weekly maintenance that we will be going through in our time playing Destiny Rising, and we can see here they have given us a nice little set of patch notes. And since this is going to be a weekly deal, I mean, is this going to be Destiny Rising's version of a TWAB or a TWID, this week in Destiny Rising, this week at Nettie's, TWAN? I don't think we really wanted to do this week in Destiny Rising, because that acronym would be Twitter, and I feel like that would confuse a lot of people. So we can call this a TWAN, if we really want to. Well, starting out, it's telling us the times that it'll be completed. This is going to be done at around like 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and we will be compensated for 200 Lumia leaves for this server maintenance. Now, because this is going to be a weekly server maintenance deal, this might mean that we could calculate an extra 200 Lumia leaves per week in our resource gain calculations. And this is especially good for free-to-play players because this is going to be almost 5 extra pulls per month. But that's not all that they have to show for us. They have a lot of juicy updates for us. First of all, they are telling us about the new event called the Efforts Reward. This is going to be the start of our endgame kind of like resource gain. It's going to give us a little bit of a boost. Additionally, it's going to give us a brand new exotic weapon that was not available before, Partridge Sky. And it's the first exotic sword in Destiny Rising, and it is also a new weapon exclusive to this game. You'll also be able to get its exotic ornament for it as well. And in order to unlock it, you just have to complete the New Light Handbook and also unlock the Acclaim system, which will happen as you complete the handbook. And so long as you've completed the entire campaign, you will basically be right there, and pretty much all you have to do is just level up and maybe do a couple more objectives. But everybody will be given access to this exotic and will be able to earn it over the following days so long as you're completing the event objectives. Now, beyond that, they're going to tell us about the optimizations and adjustments. And currently, we can see that they are lowering the difficulty of Gauntlet Onslaught's Isakis Tabernacle. So if you were having struggles defeating the final boss, then this might be your new opportunity, especially with the much higher power levels that we are going to be getting. And they've additionally lowered the combat intensity in the Nexus Interface Strike. I wonder if this is specifically because the final boss, if you got hit with its laser beam attack in its second phase, would just instantly delete your character. But they might have also done some lighter adjustments with the enemy density or other enemy difficulties within that strike. They've also weakened the Ogre's Rampage Recovery ability, so if for those of you who don't know, when you would get an Ogre low, you then like get angry, like slam the ground and get a whole bunch of health back. And if you had a character that has the Corrupt debuff, like Wolf, you would actually be able to completely remove any health regeneration they get in that time period with well-timed Wolf's Flames. Little tip for you Wolf mains out there. But that ability is now being nerfed, so you won't have to worry about having to defeat the Ogre after it completely regenerated all of its HP. Presumably. Next up, they have tweaked the event mechanics of Frontline, so if the event is not completed within 30 minutes, it will then reset. Beyond that, we have the Gift of the Nine Boxer has now been changed to deal additional fixed damage, so if you're using a low damage per shot weapon like a SMG, Boxer will now be dealing a lot more damage than it would have before if you had that weapon out. They have also improved the display of the exotic weapon Heir Apparent's heating up process, so that's a nice little detail improvement right there. They've added damage effect descriptions to weapon perks, vector allocation display. They've fixed a balancing issue in which the DPS of sidearms was lower than that of weapons in equivalent range, so when sidearms are actually getting a damage increase, and also all future sidearm units in the game. They've also improved the screen shake / vibration effect when taking blast damage, so I believe this means that if you're having some issues with your reticle bouncing around while you're taking damage, this will likely be better after this update. They've also added new features in Artifact Archive. So, I believe now if you go into your profile and then go to the Archive tab, you will then be able to see a list of the artifacts that you've obtained. So you'd be able to check out all of their effects right there, and that's going to be really nice for me when I make my artifact guide later. They've also improved the tips displayed for character-exclusive emotes and weapon-exclusive sprays, so I believe this means now if you get an exclusive emote, like Gwyn's one from the gacha, or the shader from the raid event, which can only be applied on the raid mythic weapons, it will now tell you that it is exclusive to a certain weapon type in the shader description, or the cosmetic description. They've also made a system improvement to the black market bounty issuance mechanic and increased the black market's merchant favor cap. So I don't really know what this is referring to there. We haven't had access to the black market just yet, but I hope it is something good. It definitely sounds good right there. A black market bounty might be another way to get some extra rewards. Alright, and now they're talking about the character and narrative content. And they've added a 4th skin tone for character creation, and they've also added lore entries for character quest 410-2, Finala, and more. They've adjusted Xuanwei's weapon mastery, so now once Aftermath is triggered, Xuanwei will deal an additional instance of weapon damage as opposed to gaining his increased weapon damage. Now, I'm pretty sure this is how it worked in the beta. I don't really know why that changed, but that does look like it is going to be a nice improvement, making Xuanwei more in line with a lot of the other weapon damage units. They've also added a 0.1 second cooldown to the flare energy mechanic of 10-2, presumably because of the allocation vector bug that was encountered earlier. However, I will say that bug was not taken into account when assessing the viability of the allocation vector perk. It's still a triple S tier perk, even though you won't be getting some extra flare energy from it anymore. They've also changed the unlock requirement for Weapon Mastery level 5 to Acclaim level 25. And we didn't really know what the Acclaim level requirement was before, so we don't really know if they raised it or lowered it. I'm assuming that they probably lowered it, but we wouldn't have been able to know about that beforehand. Now, this is where the real big news comes in, okay? I know a lot of you have had some issues with the Pinnacle rewards, and you've also had some issues with getting exotics. Now, here we go. Pinnacle Rewards significantly increase the chance of receiving exotic weapons from Pinnacle Rewards in certain activities, and that includes the Strike playlist, Gauntlet Blitz, Shift, and Shifting Gates, all at reward level 6 or higher. And if you've been keeping up with the game, you will be at reward level 6 right now, and you will have access to reward level 7 starting today. Additionally, the rate at legendary campaign missions drop exotics as Pinnacle Rewards has also been similarly adjusted. So, you will now be getting exotics more commonly from Pinnacle Reward drops. This might be putting it more in line with the base drop rate for the raid exotics after your weekly claims at 3%, which is what I presume it would be. Additionally, now this is really big and something that I was not expecting, at least for a while, basic rewards now have the chance to receive exotic weapons. Okay, so now when you're doing basic reward claims, in Gauntlet Blitz, Strikes, and Shifting Gates, you will now have a small chance of receiving an exotic weapon. So grinding these activities at your basic rewards has now become a lot better, okay? So after you've spent all of your Pinnacle energy, it will probably be a good idea to start grinding those activities to get all of those weapon drops, to try and get God rolls, to now also try and get exotics. So the Strike playlist and the Blitz playlist is now alive. Okay, you heard it here, folks. NetEase found a way to make the people play the Strike playlist before Bungie did. They have also increased the basic rewards for Morgan's Prey Heroic at reward level 6 or higher, and they will now grant mod fragments as the basic rewards on top of the weapon prisms. So if you just need some material gain right there, that might be a good place to grind. However, I will say that the Strike playlist is probably just the better bet because you're going to be getting those weapon prisms and those mod components while you're also getting the weapons that you'd want to use them on. And they've also slightly increased the basic reward quantity for all activities across the board. So this might be some minor rate improvements, and it also might be just increasing the flat materials that you gain overall. So the grind is going to be a lot more alive starting today in Destiny Rising. So this is really, really exciting. Additionally, we now see some artifact system improvements. Okay, the weapon boost attribute has now been buffed. Now you don't have to swap in a weapon in order to get the weapon bonus. It now will just give you flat weapon bonus. They've also added a wishlist button at the bottom right of the quick equip screen. Using this applies a recommended loadout for all 4 artifact slots directly to your Singularity Chaos wishlist. So if you have a particular build on your characters that you want to grind for, you'll be able to quickly add that to your Singularity Chaos wishlist with a single button press. You won't have to comb through all this menu. So they are already making some major quality of life improvements in this very first update to the game, which is really, really nice considering that we've barely touched artifact grinding whatsoever. Like, we're still so early into the game that most people probably haven't even had the chance to complain, at least not very much. And the devs are already on this. They are on the ball with all of these changes. They're like, okay, we heard like 3 people complain about this. Let's fix it. And this is a stark difference to the experience in the previous Destiny game that I was playing. Additionally, the high-value artifact marker for artifact attributes has been changed from the original single gold and split into 2 tiers, gold and silver. Silver is good while gold is the best. So, if you have a good but not great artifact, it will let you know as well. Also, the artifact refactor. Now, this is one of those mystery features that I haven't heard of or explored yet. When a refactor result's power is higher than the character's current power, selecting refactor again will now show up as a warning to prevent missing out on a higher power artifact due to clicking and tapping too quickly. So I presume the refactor is going to be some kind of like re-roll system with artifacts. So if you have like an artifact that's in the set that you want, and for the character element that you would want, you would then be able to re-roll it to try and get better or higher stat attributes, which is a really good feature, because that means if you have what you want, but you don't necessarily have it the exact way that you want it, you won't have to go back into Singularity Chaos in order to just like really hope and pray that you get the exact artifact that you need again, just with slightly better rolls. And the artifact refactor materials will also be dropping from claims in Singularity Chaos, so you will be getting these materials regularly if you are grinding artifacts. So huge news here. Additionally, Artifact Dismantle added an equipped and unequipped tabs to the dismantle screen to better distinguish artifacts and avoid mishaps. Dismantling equipped artifacts is also now supported, so be careful. So now you'll be able to determine, like, okay, is this artifact good? Is it bad? And it will also make it so that you don't have to necessarily de-equip all of the artifacts on, let's say, a character that you maybe touched but don't really use anymore. Like if you built Ikora for a story mission and you've got like all blue artifacts on her, you could go to that tab and you could dismantle the blue artifacts, but make sure that you don't dismantle the artifacts on the characters that you're actually using. And next, we can see that they have fixed some issues. Destination fixed issues affecting the experience of some destination quests. I don't really know exactly what this means. It could be that there were some bugs in there, but it could also mean that they improved some of the quality of the voice acting in some of these destination quests. Public events fixed an issue that would cause tracking public events to forcibly cancel other quests. This is really nice because, I mean, if you're in the middle of a quest and there's a public event nearby, you track it, you wouldn't want to lose your quest progress or just exit out of the quest mode just to go on a little side tangent to get some extra destination reputation. Sparrow Racing fixed an issue in which Sparrow Racing rankings might be displayed incorrectly. That is also really good. NPCs fixed an issue in which Lightbearers would need to be tracking a quest in order to interact with its relevant NPCs. Also really good. You shouldn't have to have a quest tracked in order to progress through it. Game Performance fixed an issue on iOS in which using a controller after activating device vibration would result in incorrect performance. Also, really nice bug fix right there. Big news for all iOS controller players who also like vibration. Alright, now we get to character and ability issues. Character models fixed an issue in which Ningfei's cloak would be stuck in the air after colliding with a weapon. Nice. Fixed an issue with the cutscene lines in Caber's character quest. Fixed an issue with Ningfei's signature ability, Lightning Strike would over-penetrate high-tier combatants. Fixed an issue with the ability mechanic icon displayed by Atal's reticle. Now it shows the number of times her weapon mastery effect can be triggered. Fix the tracking mechanics for Wolf's signature ability, Wolf's Flames, to ensure consistency between tracking and cast time. And this is going to... I really, really hope that this helps, because as a Wolf main myself, it is really finicky working with the tracking of this sometimes. Character abilities fixed an issue in which Tantu would gain unintended excess energy from the weapon perk allocation vector. And this is good for the game. I mean, obviously, it's not good for Tan 2 specifically, because it's technically a nerf. However, it's a lot more of a fix, because this is obviously not intended, and Allocation Factor is already such a broken perk in the first place. Fixed an issue in which, with Weapon Mastery activated, defeating a low health combatant would result in the Weapon Mastery effect's extra damage being lower than intended. Character talents. Fixed an issue in which Ningfei's Talent 6 Astral Projection had a chance to not activate as intended. Always good. Talent tree. Fixed an issue in which, after unlocking Wolf's 6th talent, the dynamic avatar unlock prompt would display incorrectly. Also good for everybody who just completed that in the campaign. Alright, system and feature issues. Alright, artifact system. Fixed an issue in which some artifact descriptions were obstructed. This is also good. Fixed an issue in which the artifact dismantle list would display incorrectly. Fixed an issue in which failing a stage would result in clear time being displayed incorrectly. Fixed an issue in which acclaim rewards could not be claimed in real time. I mean, nobody even knew this was an issue before, because we didn't even have access to the acclaim system yet. So, they are, really, really on it when it comes to the, in-house testing. So, this literally wasn't even an issue for us, because we literally didn't even have access to it until today. So, 2 thumbs up. Payment. Fix an issue in which accounts in Japan would be blocked from paying due to age verification. Redemption codes. Fix an issue in which some bundles could not be redeemed. Events. Fix an issue in which rewards from completing event Memento Mori could not be claimed. And that's all for the update details. Thank you for your patience. We will be continuing to collect your feedback and suggestions to keep improving Destiny Rising experience. May the light be with you from the Destiny Rising team. I gotta say, amazing patch notes. Amazing notice right here. They've already been fixing a ton of the stuff, buffing basic rewards across the board, allowing us to get exotics from basic rewards, buffing exotic rates from pinnacles, fixing issues that we literally didn't even have the opportunity to experience, already improving a lot of the artifact systems, adding tons more quality of life that is going to help us, especially now with the artifact system itself, because we're going to be spending a lot of time grinding out these sets for our characters. So as much QOL as we can get right there is going to be the best. But this is all the more reason that you will want to perform these surveys that they've been giving us, because that is the best way for them to collect feedback from the community. Okay, and you also get Lumia Leaves for completing them, so there is incentive for you to do that as well. Just make sure that you are being as honest with the feedback as possible, because otherwise, if you're just putting in a whole bunch of junk, they're not going to be able to get any information from it. Well, that's all I have for this video, this TWAN, this Destiny Rising TWAB, whatever we were gonna start calling these. Or maybe it would be the Twain, this week at NetEase. NetEase is 2 words. I don't know. We'll workshop the name later. We'll figure it out together. Let me know what you guys think we should be calling these in the comments below. And if you're interested in keeping up with Destiny Rising, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I looked at my analytics, and about 80% of my viewers are unsubscribed to the channel. So make sure to subscribe to the channel in order to keep up to date on absolutely everything to do with Destiny Rising, and also to look out for future guides coming out for this game. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.